I'm Tracy Cleary, and this is Dan Sherman, and welcome to Achieving Success. And Dan, you are such an expert on everything out there on the internet, and it's been a godsend that you've appeared in my life because I know that I have lots of questions, and I can depend on you a lot of times to help me out. But one of the things I hear very consistently from clients is there's so many social marketing or social media sites out there, LinkedIn, Facebook. They just get overwhelmed and they don't know what to belong to, what to join, how to build with them. They're just not quite sure where to go. So can you help us out with, what's the best social media site out there from your point of view and the best way to approach that, building that for yourself?
Okay, well, there's obviously tons and tons of social media sites out there. My favorite by far is LinkedIn. Okay. And LinkedIn is really for business, and that's what you and I chat about a lot. We read about business success. And for anybody who wants to become successful in business, and I tell all my clients that if you're not on LinkedIn, you're not in business. I mean, to me, it's that clear cut.
That critical, okay.
And what I want to do is I want to talk about LinkedIn, and there's a million things to do on LinkedIn. It's free, www.linkedin.com. It's free to set up a profile. And there's a million things to do, but I'm going to focus on 6 things that you can do on LinkedIn that makes everything so much easier for you. The first thing you can do is you can find a job. You can get on LinkedIn and you can create a target list of companies that you'd like to work for. Then you can build up your contact base such that any company that you're interested in, you will have a contact in that company.
Wow.
And that's the hardest thing about finding a job is getting a name.
Getting a contact in there.
That is the hardest thing. And as soon as you've got a name, you got a place to start. So it's so easy to use LinkedIn to find a job because you can build up your contacts, then you can create your target list of companies, 5 or 10 places where you want to go to work, and start creating contacts within those companies. You've got a name, you send an email, hey, I'd like to get an interview with you, or I'd like to talk to you some more about your company. Right. So that's.
I have to say, in this economy with so many people struggling for opportunities right now, that piece alone right there is just huge. Looking, trying to find a job. I saw something on the news this morning where this gentleman had been a CEO for a large company and he had gotten laid off, and he was actually living out of the hotels and the restaurants on his frequent flyer miles. He was didn't even have a house. He couldn't afford the house. He was just living off of the frequent flyer miles. But by staying out there and talking to people and getting names, he ended up getting another job. And you just finding the right connections. So that's a big one right there.
Yeah, and LinkedIn will give you a name. That's the most important thing. What's the hiring manager's name? Because usually you're up against personnel, you're up against HR.
Right.
You don't know who the hiring manager is. You can find out who the hiring manager is on LinkedIn. Another thing, you can find an employee. Let's say you've got a little business. It's great to network. You go on LinkedIn, you read people's profiles, you read their recommendations. You can find out so much about a person that you're thinking of hiring that and it's not like Facebook or any of the other fun places. It's really only for business. So it's a great place to find somebody to go to work for you. You can also find customers, in that if you make yourself very well known on LinkedIn and very visible, and people see you as an expert on LinkedIn, then people will come to you and start approaching you to go to hire you to be their vendor of choice. So it's a great place to gather business. It's also a great place to find a vendor. Let's say you want to find a photographer, or you need any kind of service provider. You can go on there, you can look at people's references, you can look at their bios, you can ask people about them. So it's a great place to find any type of service provider that you know.
I have a question about that one. If you're out there looking for a vendor, can you do a search on it like you would just list the type of job description you're looking for?
Well, what you can do is there are groups on LinkedIn. There's a group for every type of profession known to mankind.
Okay.
And you're allowed to join up to 50 groups. So you could join a group and you could then post a wanted within that group. Hey, I need somebody who does this. Can you recommend somebody?
Okay.
Or you can, like I say, you can join up to 50 groups so that if you've got a group of your business, you can go into that business and say, hey, have any of you guys hired somebody in this town to do that?
Got it.
And then you get the responses back.
All right.
So it's a great way to connect and get references for people and get recommendations.
Fabulous.
So you can find a vendor. You can ask a question. I use LinkedIn as my mastermind. I have 3,000 direct contacts That connects me to 14 million business people around the world. That is my mastermind. Whenever I get stuck with anything in my business, and you mentioned I'm into the internet, but I'm not very techy. In other words, I don't know HTML coding. I'm not a programmer.
Right.
If I have a problem with my website, I will go on LinkedIn and I will pose a question. How do you do this? And so I will pose a question, and within 10 minutes, I'll get 10 or 20 answers from people all over the world. Well, have you tried this? Just try this. And I've saved so much in consulting fees because I don't have to hire somebody. I've got this mastermind on LinkedIn.
Great.
And in the
Great.
reverse is you can answer a question. So
You can
people like me,
contribute back.
you contribute back. People like me ask questions, but I also answer questions. So if someone asks a question that I know something about, like internet marketing, I will answer that question. It'll raise my profile in LinkedIn. If my answer is voted as the best, that shows up on my LinkedIn profile as an expert in that field.
Wow.
So, and I know people who have gotten business strictly by answering questions on LinkedIn.
Fabulous.
Because they are seen as the expert. The guy says, hey, I've seen you answering questions all the time. You obviously know something. Let me hire you. I hired somebody off LinkedIn on the basis of them answering questions. I hired a social media expert to help me with one of my campaigns because I read one of her answers to a question on LinkedIn. I said, this woman obviously knows what she's doing.
Right.
And then I just went to her profile, went to her site, saw that she had all the credentials, and I hired her.
What a great! I didn't even realize the tool could do that for
Oh,
you.
yeah.
So that is, there's so many things you can do with it. So I can see now why you're saying that LinkedIn is definitely the one that you want to belong to. So I've learned a few things just sitting here myself today. So that's fantastic.
You've got to be on LinkedIn.
Okay. I am on it.
I know.
I just don't realize how I can use all these other things with it. So now I'm learning.
You're like a lot of people that I talk to that say, yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I say, well, how often do you use it? Well, I never use it.
Right. Right. I see the little notes that come in, and I check it out every now and then.
Right.
But I'm not sure how to really utilize all the things that it has available for you.
Right.
So this is fabulous.
I use LinkedIn every day. I'm on it a lot.
Okay.
It is a business community where people help each other, where you can advance your career, where you can advance your business, where you can find the people that you need to advance your business. So, and it's free. There's no cost involved. So to me, it's one of those things we call no-brainers.
It's a no-brainer. You got it.
So
Excellent.
I encourage you to get on LinkedIn. I encourage you to use LinkedIn more.
I will start doing so.
Okay.
All right.
And that's enough. Thanks very much for watching,
Thank you.
and we'll see you next time.
Okay.